everyone. In today's video, I'm continuing my Don't Starve series. In the last episode, I did Wartox, and now I'm going to be going on to Wormwood, everyone's favorite plant. Alright, Wormwood. To start out, he has 150 HP and hunger and 200 sanity. Pretty much the usual, but he has better skills eventually. His favorite food is cooked bananas, and his birthday is June 6th. Alright, now for his origin story. Basically, he has more of an interesting one. He's actually a gem that fell out of from the moon, and then kind of landed into that world of Hamlet Don't Starve, which is the DLC for the base game. After he fell from the moon onto this pedestal in the middle of the woods, a bunch of vines grew around, forming the figure you see now. He's actually pretty nice to the other survivors. He's not like evil or anything, but he does look a little bit intimidating, as in his animated short. It's safe to assume that at some point he might have found a rift or a portal or something, and then he got sent into the Constant with the other survivors, because he kind of already originates from the Constant, but like where the Hamlet world is. He has some unique items, however he does not start with any, so I'm just going to load into the game and show it to y'all. Alright, I'm going to go over his base items first that he already has without his skill tree. First off, he has a compost wrap, which I'll explain what that does in a moment. He can also craft living logs for 20 HP. He also has a bramble husk, which is armor he can wear, and a bramble trap, which is kind of like a tooth trap almost, but I think a little bit weaker. Everything else you see here is going to be skill tree related, which I'll go over in a minute. Alright, now I'm going to go over his abilities. Basically, if I can find some seeds around here, hold on, I think there's some here. Ah yes, some seeds. Normally you need a hoe to plant. Well, in this case you can just plant them directly into the ground yourself, which by doing this you get sanity. Basically planting stuff gives you sanity as Wormwood. You can also talk to plants faster, and he can also access the happiness easier, and he can see what the plants need. In addition to, of course, planting on the plots, you can also plant in the ground directly, in case you don't feel like starting a farm. However, it's pretty much always recommended since you kind of need the farm to fertilize and water the plants. So either way, it's just good to have them, but if you're in a pinch, you could potentially just grow them in the ground yourself. Here we have his compost wrap. Basically, this is a healing item for him, and him alone. Reason being is he can't heal up like normal characters by eating healing food. He has to use manures and fertilizers since he's literally a plant. There you go, now y'all can see him better. He's literally a plant, so using the living logs over and over again might not be a good idea. I mean, it's good if you need living logs, but you have to make sure you have some healing afterward, because it's a little bit harder to restore HP as Wormwood. The bramble husk works like armor, where it's kind of like the thorns armor from Minecraft, where if the enemy attacks you enough times, it'll release spikes and damage them. Pretty basic, but still kind of cool. And I already explained the bramble trap, which is like a weaker hound trap, basically, with the hound's teeth. Except this one takes bee stingers and living logs. I want to say that's pretty much everything for the base game, so now I'll go on to his skill tree abilities. This one we got, pretty much somewhat a unique skill tree. This one's like one of the earlier ones that the developers added. Basically, your affinities, you only have lunar affinity as Wormwood, so that's like an important note. No shadow affinity for him, which would make sense with his origin story and all that. But basically, your skill tree, your affinities are on the top right and left corners. Basically, these are affected by how many skills on that side of the skill tree that you unlock. You can have both of them, so it's just a matter of which skills you decide to do. Seed Sleuth, the first ability, basically allows you to identify seeds you've just planted. So for example, let's see if I examine this one. It'll be a baby corn stalk. That's what it'll grow into. What about this one over here? Baby potato plant. It's good if you're trying to identify weeds right at the start, so that way you can eliminate them and get rid of them. I'm going to be going on to the right side and then do the left side. A base game ability I forgot to mention is if Wormwood gets enough nutrients, he'll go into full bloom, which he'll have like a different facial appearance and a character design in general. He'll look like he's actually blooming, which it has some multiple effects, like bees being attracted to the player, or I'm trying to think. You also have a little trail of flowers that follows you. It doesn't do anything, but it's just another thing of being in full bloom. I believe you also get a speed buff as well. Basically, it's good to be in full bloom when you're playing as Wormwood. Growth Spurt 1 basically makes it so you can reach full bloom quicker. In addition to the other methods, like getting a lot of nutrients, also in spring, Wormwood will start blooming, which obviously makes sense. Growth Spurt 2 does the same thing as the first one, makes you go to full bloom quicker. And let's see what this next one does. Shade Plant. Gain increased protection from overheating when in full bloom. I didn't see this one being too necessary since I'm somewhat good at surviving in summer, but you know, you can get it if you want to. Flower Power. Fertilization of Wormwood is boosted by 30%. I guess it's like a extra healing or something like that. I'm not even gonna begin to try to pronounce this one, but basically what it does is slowly regenerates health when you're exposed to daylight in full bloom. Kinda useful if you have a lot of healing options as Wormwood, but personally I didn't see it being that necessary, so I just kinda skipped over it. Next one, Farmhand, allows you to tend farm plants within a larger range while in full bloom, and be able to harvest plants from them faster. Basically you can do more farm work in a lot faster rate. This next one, Compost Cure, allows you to heal faster with compost scraps. Pretty simple and straightforward. This next ability, Bee Kind, makes it so that with bees and butterflies will tolerate Wormwood unless provoked. Pretty simple. But I didn't see it that necessary, so that's why I didn't do that one as well. The Bramble Trap Specialist is what allows you to will actually reset nearby bramble traps while in full bloom. Basically, if a bramble trap's been used by like a hound or something, kind of like the regular ones, you'll have to wait. You'll have to reset it yourself. With this ability, when you're in full bloom and walk next to the traps, they reset themselves. Overall, pretty helpful. This next one's actually pretty useful. Bramble Husk Specialist. Every 3-hit attack streak you land without taking damage triggers a burst of spikes from your Bramble Husk. So this one, basically, if I hit 3 times, it should give me a 1, 2, 3. I don't know if y'all saw the spike effect just now. There it is. Basically, that'll occur and damage enemies, within a further range. So that way you can hit multiple enemies at the same time. I'll do the affinities on the right side. Of course, you'll need to defeat Celestial Champion and learn enough right branch skills to unlock. They don't specify on how many you need, but it looks like you need at least 5 in order to unlock these. Lunar Guardian 1, basically it says, seize foes and keep them rooted up in place while wearing Bright Shade armor. You can also, with this feature, be able to fuse Bramble Husk and Bright Shade armor to create Bramble Shade armor, which is this set right here. I believe this also has the same rule of the 1, 2, 3. Yep, it does, but it's a lot stronger. So in a way you can combine 2 armor sets and make them into like a lot stronger one. But the Bright Shade, the Bright Bramble armor basically can only be used by Wormwood since it's basically full of spikes, and it'd probably hurt all the other survivors. So this one's like a Wormwood exclusive, although pretty cool. Which in my opinion makes Wormwood one of the better players or characters to use with the Bright Shade set. If y'all know what these let's see here, those enemies are, the one that's trying to come for me right now. Basically, these Bright Shade, what are these? Oh, Deadly Bright Shades. I don't know why I can't remember the name right now. But basically, these ones spawn those vines towards the player. If the player is using a planar weapon, like the planar sword, and attacks, it'll create a small one right there, which then it'll occasionally attack the enemy, but I don't think it sees this punching bag as a threat, so it's not actually going to attack. But if it were like a threatening enemy, like another Bright Shade, or like Deerclops or something like that, basically then it would start attacking. Alright, now I'll go on to the left skills. Mushroom Mastery 1. Mushrooms planted in a mushroom planter will grow a little faster. Pretty basic, but I still chose it anyway. Mushroom Mastery 2. Mushrooms planted in a mushroom planter will grow much faster, kind of like the first one. Mushroom Multiplier. I believe mushrooms planted in a mushroom planter will produce a higher yield. Moonshroom Cloud is a unique ability. Basically, you can plant moonshrooms in mushroom planters, the unique moon mushrooms, and then when you eat them, it creates like a sleep cloud around Wormwood, which then makes other creatures fall asleep if they're in the radius. It's kind of like having a pan flute almost. This next ability, Pour Sap, allows you to craft a food item for like creatures and stuff that when they eat it, they produce like 15 manure for the player, which, as you already know, Wormwood needs that to fertilize. Next one, sapling crafting is pretty simple. Basically, you can sacrifice health to craft lunar saplings, which, if y'all see right here, I can create one right now, just to demonstrate. This one's actually the lunar sapling, like the ones you find on the lunar island, so that's why it looks a little different from the regular mainland ones. Overall pretty cool though. Next one is you can craft the regular berry bushes, and then the one on top of it is the juiceberry bushes. The juiceberry and regular berry ones, you require the opposite berry to create. As you can see, the regular berry bush requires a certain amount of juice berries, which when you unlock that, you also get the both variants of these. Honestly, don't know what the difference between both of them. I think it might just be a design kind of thing. But then if you want the juiceberry, I think Corvus Goodfeather got in my way. That bird NPC that's been walking around here for the past all the videos I've been making. This juiceberry bush, as you can see, requires regular berries. So as you can see, if you have one berry but need the other, you can use that berry to then collect the other variant. Monkey tail crafting, this is actually pretty good. Basically, you need reeds and bananas to create monkey tails, which are basically like reeds. Well, correction, they are reeds, but they look a little different. And this, just in case you want to create like a paper farm or something like that if you're playing with a wicker bottom player. This one, kind of like the port sap, I also sacrificed so that way I could get my lunar affinities, just because I didn't really see them being that necessary. Mainly because of the next few abilities, but I'll explain in a moment. Basically, lure plant crafting is exactly what you think it was, where it allows you to craft lure plants. I find them easy enough to get on survival mode, so typically I didn't go for this skill. Also, with the addition of the skill tree, I wanted to make sure I get it, so that's kind of why I didn't get that skill in the first place. This next one, Lunar Cultivator 1, allows you to turn carrots into carrots. The carrots I have like with me, which I think there's like a limit, will retrieve food they find on the ground, like seeds and stuff. Like if I had the carrot with me right now, it would try to go pick up that seed, multiple seeds, and bring it to me. Lunar Cultivator 3 allows you to turn dragon fruit into salamanders. Salamanders you've created will attack things you do. Basically, they're kind of like bodyguards. Lunar Cultivator 2 allows you to turn light bulbs into the light bugs that you find in the caves, which, as you may have already figured out, they'll light the area around you and follow you around. He has some unique disadvantages, like, being able to only eat like plant food to recover health and not being able to eat regular food. So it's like one disadvantage of his. Also, if you destroy plants and stuff like chop trees, he'll lose sanity. So that's another thing to watch out for. But I mean, if you cut down the big trees and then plant 2 pine cones back, you get that sanity back plus a little extra, I think. So it's not too big of a disadvantage, but it's just something to keep an eye out for. Also, I want to say in the regular version of the game, he had a weakness to fire. I don't know if it carried through to Don't Starve Together, but I guess watch out for fire. Because your character's a plant, and it obviously makes sense. My personal best use for Wormwood is simply just farming. I mean, sometimes I like to fight with him, but typically most of the time I just like to farm with him. I mean, he is basically the best character for farming, so it just makes sense. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to go over for Wormwood. Well anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, so please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Goodbye.